Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Roy's Tie-Dye Sci-Fi Corner, episode number 219, and this is the Heroes of Sci-Fi. Tonight, we are doing a special presentation on a special day, which is Monday, February 5th at what was supposed to be 7 p.m., but we're a little late because we're having technical issues due to the control voice from the Outer Limits. With me tonight to discuss this fun topic is my friend, my co-host, the one and only Mr. Ross Amico. Ross.
Good evening, everyone. It's another one of these, the gang that couldn't shoot straight. So, Roy, are we going to do this or what? And Roy says, I've been here for like an hour. And it turns out he didn't send me the link. But then beyond that, there were all kinds of issues with the, I don't know. I could go on and on and on. Every time I do production work at the house, it screws up my computer, and I have to reboot everything. And then once I rebooted, I couldn't access anything that I had set up for the show, and it was wonderful. But thanks for coming on. Thanks for tuning us in on a Monday night. I guess there's no Monday Night Football, right?
Yeah, no, it's actually the Super Bowl. The participants of the Super Bowl have been determined. And that will be taking place 2 weeks from yesterday, if I'm not mistaken. And if you really want to throw me under, Ross, you will ask me who those participants are.
I'm surprised you knew as much as you did. I thought you were going to do the whole thing. I thought you were going to go the whole 9 yards, Roy. Yeah.
Anyway, no. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Friday, I've actually had some issues with, and I appreciate everybody that's sent messages and comments and the emojis and everything. I just twisted the wrong way, and I pretty much, it's the stupidest thing. But anyway, you got to be careful when you're 57. And what happened was I just kind of tore cartilage in my ribs is what happened. I mean, I've been going to the doctor, so I'm actually feeling better, which is good today. It started yesterday to feel a little bit better. So it's just that when I sleep, I just got to make sure that I, just don't kind of like sleep on the rib. But hey, we're here. I'm laughing. We're having fun. And we're talking about football. So yeah, life is good.
Are you heavily under the influence right now?
No, I'm not actually. I am not.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's just me and unsweetened iced tea tonight, Ross. So
well, excuse me.
Anyway, hey, I want to say hi to Urko out there. I'm assuming that I still don't know who that is. I mean, Urko is, I don't know. Anyway, hi Urko. Thanks for joining us. And I see Colin is joining us from the UK. Welcome, Colin. And Bill is out there. Bill Scarrato, my friend from the theater, from Country Gate Theater. Bill, welcome. And also Bill Graff is out there. Welcome, Bill. Brennan is joining us as well. Christian is representing us from Canada. Hey, Christian, great to see you out there. Randy is joining us, and he's joining us from Wisconsin. And Randy said he got his shirt. My wife clearly has no idea how to pronounce your last name, Roy. You know what, Randy? I've seen worse, so it's no worries. And it, just for the record, it's Belquist. That's the American version, and Bielquist if you want to go Swedish on me. Lou is joining us from Rhode Island. Welcome, Lou. Great to see you out there. And also, I see Jeff Rubel is in the house. Jeff is joining us from Utah. Welcome out west.
I always lose sound too.
Oh boy, losing sound. Yeah, that happened.
Probably for different reasons. So
probably. Michael Miller is joining us. Greetings, Mike. Hope you're doing well. Colin liked our Outer Limits comment. And thanks, Colin. I'm on the men's. Shari is out there. She's saying this Sunday is Super Bowl. Whoops. I guess it was off one.
What?
Oh, I thought it was 2 weeks from this past Sunday. All right. So sorry. Thanks, hon. So corrected. I was close, Ross. I was off by a week.
All right.
Christian is, just for the record, Christian is saying it's San Francisco versus Kansas City. I knew somebody out there would know that.
Well, he is Canadian, so.
Well, there you go. And May is out there. Thanks. Good to see you out there, May. And thanks, Jeff. Yeah, turning to sports. Just for the record, though, I used to love the wide world of sports. You talk about really cool opening narration.
Yes,
that was
really
back
victory. Yeah,
in the agony of defeat.
I miss Jim McKay.
Jim McKay was cool.
Jackie Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good times.
Good times. Yep, the ski jumper, exactly.
All right.
So, of course, we had tech issues right out of the gate, and of course, we are probably going to have tech issues throughout the course of this episode because we are going to be handling this episode a little differently. Yeah, Ross, thumbs up.
Guaranteed.
So, what we are doing is, what we have done is, Ross and myself have actually taken the opportunity to list 10 sci-fi heroes that we feel are heroes. And what we're going to do is, we have not discussed this prior to the show. And what we're going to do is, we're going to let each other know about them as we're letting you know about them. And we'll just, kind of talk about the hero and why we feel that way. So to make sure that this works in the manner that it probably won't work, to keep it a flowing surprise, what we have set up is we have the slides all set and ready to go. At least I have my 10, and then I have positioned spaces for Ross's. So what I'm going to do is, Ross has emailed his results to me, and I'm going to pull them out and post them on the screen. And as you are seeing them, I will be seeing them, or as I am seeing them, you will be seeing them. I'll probably see them first. So
ideally.
Yeah,
because you're going to be sharing the screen, and at that point, anything goes. I know when we were trying it out on was it Thursday or Friday? We were going into the wormhole. So
yeah, Brendan summed it up. This should be interesting. And also, Colin has said Omega Man is number one for Ross. No hand, all hands down. Yeah. Nah, Santa Claus conquers the one. You guys are gonna kill me. It's gonna hurt when it only hurts when I laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. These are kind of we just both chose 10. There's so many that we could have chosen from, and we didn't really rank them.
Right.
I mean, I kind of did, but then I didn't. I kind of shuffled them because it was too hard to rank them.
Yeah, and that's a really great point. There is no special sequence. I mean, I want to be getting, mail that says, what? So anyway, with that said, let's see some of the comments. Mike saying, as we saw in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, a wormhole will make things very interesting.
Absolutely, and you will see, I'm sure.
Hey, Matt's in the house. Welcome, Matt.
Don't damage your coccyx. Yeah.
Can always count on Matt.
That's a science fiction word right there.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the coccyx.
Randy has listed his top 10, so there you go, folks.
Oh, let's see what he's got there. Oh, okay, yeah. Neo and Spock, Alan Carter. Oh, there we go. Well, okay. Well, I made number 9 anyway. That's great.
Yeah, you made the list, Ross.
I topped out over Ace Hunter there. So
there you go.
Yeah.
So this is going to be very, very interesting. All right. So I will start with my first. Now, again, I'm starting with the number 1. It's not necessarily number 1, but it's the first one I am starting with. So with that said, I am sharing my screen, and now what I did was I actually put kind of like a little title with these just to kind of make it a little interesting. So whether or not that's appropriate is a whole nother story for a whole nother show.
Did you create little subcategories for each one, like miscongeniality or most likely to succeed? No.
Most likely to succeed. Even if they don't make it through the movie.
John Hurt from Alien, or Ash.
Sacrificial hero.
Sacrificial hero.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea, it's topics like that. So like sacrificial hero.
I wish I'd known. I could have had fun with that. Yeah.
It was last minute. It was on the spur. It was in the last 15 minutes.
We'll have fun with it.
We don't want to talk it out, even though we're on
the show. No, that's why we don't rehearse.
Yep. So
or try not to.
We'll try not to. All right. So with that said, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There you go. Wise man hero.
Yeah, definitely wise man hero. And if you think about it, just in everything that, the lead up, the build up, and I'm talking from the first Star Wars, and I'm not taking away from anything that took place after
Oh,
the
come on, Roy.
first movie, from 1977.
You're such the politician. We're all voting for you, so say whatever you want.
I don't want to get the haters going. We need those young people votes, Ross.
Nobody here cares about those other movies.
Oh my God, it feels good to laugh. It's just great.
Yeah, don't tear a rib. Yeah.
Yeah, really. So anyway, first one out of the gate was Obi-Wan Kenobi, portrayed by
he's the mentor. He's he's an archetypal character. We heard so much about the hero's journey when Star Wars came out, and the whole Joseph Campbell thing. That was it. Bill Moyers was always interviewing. They were always airing that interview with George Lucas and talking about the different archetypes that were in Star Wars. And there's always the mentor, the wise man who mentors the greener hero and sends him on his way. Yeah. On the journey. Yeah,
exactly. And everything that he's preparing Luke for, and then right down to the moment too. I mean, when they separate, they get entrapped onto the Death Star, and they all go down their different paths. And even, when they separate, Obi-Wan says to Luke, he has a different path than the path that Luke is going to be going. And he pretty much prepares him. I mean, he says, the Force will be with you, always. And it's kind of like the parting words. And just as they're all trying to get out, I mean, and he's engaged in that lightsaber battle with Vader. And it's so intense. And it pretty much, Obi-Wan is holding his own. And even though Vader is sensing that, when he says your power is a weak old man, he, almost taunting him. But Obi-Wan even tells him, that even if you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. And the fight continues. And it probably would have continued, but when he sees Luke, he knows, and it's almost like a reminder of what he has to do and the next step he has to take. And it's a form of sacrifice and with what he does. And, it's very heroic in itself.
Yeah. It's kind of scary or interesting, but scary that Ewan McGregor has so much usurped kind of our Alec Guinness as Obi-Wan, because he's played the part for so long now.
Right.
It's funny how history, how the perspective kind of shifts. Yeah, you notice with the costume design there too, what they did with his vestment there. I don't know if it's like almost like a kimono or whatever. That Lucas had originally conceived the Jedi Knights as kind of samurai warriors. He just kind of picked and plucked and picked and chose from different cultures and different time periods to come up with kind of that timeless, hodgepodge fairy tale that Star Wars is. So you had the wise man stereotype,
right,
or archetype. So yeah, good choice, because I almost chose Obi-Wan myself when I was kind of picking through. It's like, do I want to choose an obvious one, or do I want to choose one that that's the thing. It's like we're supposed to choose 10. So do you choose your favorite, or you choose the most interesting, or so?
Yeah, and there's no wrong or right with it. It's just, what you really feel like going with. And when you're thinking about 10 heroes and in that type of perspective, it's tough, because there are, to a lot of the comments that were coming through when we were putting this up and promoting the show, there are so many different heroes, and you can look at it in so many different ways that on your picks. But it was, trying to brainstorm, and I was trying to think of different categories to put them into. So that really, when I was thinking in terms of that, I thought, what, that would really be appropriate for this. And I really thought, what, he really fits the build in regards to that. And that's why, I decided to go with him. So
how many viewers chose Jar Jar?
I think the ongoing joke about Jar Jar is that he's the Sith Lord.
So he's kind of he's an anti-hero. He's a villain.
He's a villain, yeah.
But with that kind of charisma, I'm labeling him an anti-hero.
Oh boy, let's see some of the comments that are coming through here. I'm kind of prepping and taking a look here, and
do we have any viewers left?
yes, we do.
Oh, we do. Okay.
Let me see here. Let's see. Brennan is saying a lot of Gandalf in him. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Good point. Bill is saying Obi-Wan takes that moment to smile at Luke so that he will know that Obi-Wan is choosing to make the sacrifice. Yeah, absolutely, Bill. And that was, as a hero, that was definitely. Let me see here. Colin is saying Rigel from Farscape is on his list. Catherine Speck is out there. Catherine, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining. And she's Samuel and David.
Biblical relationship there. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. Colin is saying basically Alchemist will always be Obi-Wan. Christian said Charlton Heston, Planet of the Apes, Omega Man, Soylent Green. Yeah, Shari will agree with you on that. She loves Soylent Green.
We only have 7 left then. They're all Heston characters. Yeah.
Michael's saying not Jar Jar, but Kalarian Beck. Oh yeah. Gotcha. From the other movie.
That one went over my head. Yeah.
Bill's saying my number one hero is Superman, the world symbol of goodness, as they say in Broadway musical version. Yeah. All right, so there you go. But yeah, I think as far as covering that, now I'm going to share the next one, and this is whoops. I'm actually going to share. Okay, next this is going to be Ross's pick.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes here. So, all right. Oh, you already put it up. Okay, so I don't even have to. You don't even have to share it here. You just put it right up.
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is all right. Nobody's going to see the wormhole then. I can open up my screen. I can relax.
I mean, you can do that, Ross. I didn't know if you were prepared to do that.
I'm letting the Wookiee win.
That would actually make my life a lot easier if you do that.
No. It's beautiful. There was no delay at all. You did a great job. This is great because then I don't have to worry about going through my. Because otherwise we have to open up the screen. I got to open my slideshow. There's all kinds of stuff that I have to do.
Yeah.
Well, geez, what am I sweating over dinner for? I'm gonna go have a smoke.
I was very amused by your. Yeah, we do need a technical director, Randy. I mean, I'm trying to do this all behind the scenes, and as I'm talking and coordinating and trying to make it look like nothing's happening. And you know what? Nothing is happening.
Maybe Randy can intern for us. I'm sure he'd love to do that.
And if anything, Mike's saying if anything goes wrong, then you can blame Ross. Yeah, there we go.
Well, I can blame you. You just read it backwards on purpose. Lit up a lucky on. They're toasted.
Anyway, Ross, interesting choice.
Yeah, the Duke de Richelieu. Because I was trying to think a little bit outside the box and what movies do I really enjoy, and this to me is one of Christopher Lee's greatest roles because he always plays a villain. He plays a monster, or he's got some kind of nefarious, easily, the Wicker Man. He's up to no good. And here he's actually the hero. He's fighting the forces of darkness. He's and I love the fact that he's so well informed. But he's completely versed in the occult, so he knows how to combat everything. He has a reverence for the material, so he doesn't take it lightly. Also, he's an aristocrat like me. He drives a nice car like me, and he's got a nice library. And
there's that connection, Ross.
Yeah. Just like me, but his voice is deeper. So, but yeah, I love this movie. If you haven't checked out the Devil Rides Out, do try to see this movie. We covered it here once upon a time, so it's in the archive somewhere. Once you watch the movie, you don't want to spoil it. Then you can watch our conversation. It was based on the Dennis Wheatley novel, and I was so disappointed because I actually read the book. Then I tracked it down and I read it, and it just didn't do it for me. I was hoping because there's a whole series of Duke de Richelieu adventures, occult adventure. Well, some of them are occult, and some of them are just yeah, no, they're always fighting somebody. The three of them, Rex and Simon. You know,
The eyes, Rex. The eyes.
yeah, the eyes, Rex, the eyes.
No, and I have to be honest, Ross. I
Yeah.
really thought I was going to hate this movie, and I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I really, really liked it. It
Yeah.
was really well done. It was right in tune with British filmmaking of that era. It was in the I think what this was 1967, if I remember correctly. I'm guessing. I think so. You know, it's right in that time frame. Christopher Lee was great. It was great to see him as a protagonist instead of an antagonist, as he usually is. Christian is actually commenting. He said Christopher Lee was the hero in The Gorgon.
Yeah, yeah. And this was one of his favorite roles. It's a Hammer film.
Sure.
And yeah, he was hoping that they would do more of these, but they just never got around to it. I guess they just wanted him to play Dracula some more.
Really, so this was pretty much once and done for him playing this role, right?
Yeah. He wanted to do a follow-up, but either he couldn't get anybody to bite, or they just couldn't get it off the ground.
Gotcha.
Richard Matheson did the adaptation of the screenplay, and we know that he did, you know, so many of the classic Twilight Zone episodes and a lot of other things besides. A lot of movies and were based on his books. Yeah, I wrote a lot of screenplays, adapted them from other sources, like for this one. Sure. So yeah, that's my number one choice, the Duc de Richelieu. That's not to say number one of all time. It's, if we're counting down, number 10, but we're not ranking them. So now the important question that's in the back of everybody's minds right now: if Obi-Wan met the Duc de Richelieu, who would win in a fight?
But they're both good guys.
All right. Oh, who would win in a singing contest is what we want to know, because Christopher Lee.
I would say probably Christopher Lee.
Yeah, he had that rich baritone. Yeah, he was going to be his dream was to be a professional opera singer.
I was going to say he was a man of many hats.
Yeah, and he was overheard by U.C. Björling, the great Swedish tenor, in a tavern in Stockholm. He was singing there with his friends, and U.C. Björling said, "Wow, come meet me tomorrow at the Royal Stockholm Opera House or what have you. And we're going to audition you." And they offered him a position in the conservatory there. The UC said he would train him, but Christopher Lee couldn't afford to, pay for his living at that point, for his expenses. But it kind of, isn't gnawing at him. But in the end, I remember later in life, somebody asked him about it, and he said, "You know what? If I were a singer, I would have done it for 20 years tops, and his voice would have worn out."
Sure.
Whereas as an actor, he continued to act until the day he died, basically.
Right.
So he was happy with his career.
Yeah, Brennan said, "Wow, Yoda took on Christopher Lee, but not Obi-Wan."
That's true.
That is true. That's true. And Jeff Rubel commented, "I didn't recognize him without the beard configuration. With the beard configuration, excuse me."
I should have posted the picture of when I dressed up as him on their Halloween crossover with the Go-to-Mendes. Yeah.
So yeah,
the crossover with Mike and Mary Beth. Yeah.
Alrighty. Now the next one that I have is, and I'm going to share the screen, and this is going to be an obvious one for many people, and somebody just had to actually mention it, is Superman.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean,
Man of Steel.
The Man of Steel, 1978, Christopher Reeve.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was the representation. It was so just very iconic the way he just took on that character. But Superman is the American hero. I mean, he represents everything about being a hero. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, because I still want to live in that era when he was the American hero. I don't want this dystopia stuff. I want to go back to Superman. If somebody's being too dystopian, I want Superman to come in and straighten it out.
Mike said Superman is my favorite comic book hero. Colin said thought it was going to be Captain Koenig for a moment, or Commander Koenig for a moment.
Yeah, well, when you said it was obvious, I was thinking something like that too.
The big setup. What Bill said is Jonathan Harris said, to be a character actor is the greatest thing because you can work forever. Yeah,
It's true.
sure.
It's true. And who's this having this conversation with? I mean, it's not an original insight. This is back to Christopher Lee. I'm sorry. But, British actors, they could be in King Lear on stage the night before, and then the next day they show up to film their part in a Hammer film. It's like,
well, that's what happened too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they were constantly going back and forth doing that.
Yeah. And there was no shame in it. At first I said they had no pride, but really what it was is they had pride in all of it. It was all acting, and they don't get paid or didn't get paid over there. Still don't get paid over there, but they get paid over here in Hollywood. So they had to keep working. So.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, I love that too. Yeah. The prologue for Superman, the movie, the black and white comic sequence. Yeah. Yeah. That was
wonderful, wonderful tribute.
Yeah.
To the comics by doing that. And even with that, you almost get the goosebumps when you're seeing that, because it's a different era, it's a different time, but it's a time that is so well respected and appreciated, whereas it's almost like today, we're just in such a different realm. We're, I don't know, it's kind of been like beaten out of us, and so to speak, and which is really sad.
Well, it is, because now not only the 30s a different world, but the 70s are now a very different world for us. When you look back, because it starts out with the comic book, and then you get that 3-dimensional rendering of the Daily Planet and then the camera, that screen opens up, the curtains open up on the screen. Right. They have the curtains and they open up, and you go into that star field. And then you get the first words in the title sequence there, that title design. It's like, oh my God. What's going on?
A movie like that is so epic.
It was epic. It was the definition of what they used to call sublime in the 19th century. Like all those painters of the Hudson River School that would try to paint Niagara Falls or these huge vistas with canyons and these storms and sunsets that would strike kind of terror in your soul to look at them. That's how I felt when Superman started. My brush with the sublime.
Yeah, because I mean, imagining, or if you haven't seen it, which I'm sure everybody here has at one point or another, you go back and you just sit and watch that, and you're anticipating and you're looking forward to what's coming next. And they just don't make movies like that anymore, unfortunately.
And then the pacing was just so. People now would probably find it slow, but I just loved how they just let it unfold. You had his whole development in Smallville. You had, first you had the Krypton sequence. You had Smallville. You had his coming to Metropolis, and it was a bunch of movies in one. Literally, it turned out, because they chopped the thing in half to make 2 movies.
Right, exactly.
Ultimately, with a
Bill
lot of controversy along the way. Yeah.
Richard Donner said John Williams' theme says Superman with the music. Brilliant.
Yeah. That's absolutely what they say. Yeah.
Superman. In fact, it just adds everything. And we'll probably do an episode. I mean, we talk about the composers, each week for the respective television series or the movie, but we really should do a episode that's garnered towards specific themes and, our rankings or favorites. And, because if you really think about it, what would a movie be without? What would Superman be without the music? What would Jaws be without the music? I mean, those are just 2 immediate examples. I mean, really.
What we should do? We should sing them all a cappella so that we don't get yanked off of. So the algorithm can't recognize the music and shut us down.
If I do that, Ross, we definitely will not recognize the music.
We can assemble a little choir, But what's this here? Prentice Hancock, one sample shooting Earthbound. But it means to see him one night in station.
Yeah, so Roy Dotrice, talented British actor.
Okay.
Was in 2 episodes of Space 1999, Breakaway and Earthbound. And I think I've actually heard this story, Christian. And I think that's really, really cool. So pretty neat, and it's a prime example of what you were saying earlier, Ross. You're filming on the sound stages of Pinewood one day, and then the next, or that evening, you're heading over to the theater to perform.
At the Old Vic. I'm over at the Old Vic tonight playing Hamlet. Yeah. But,
oh boy, Lou said I think I'd pay you guys to sing the Star Wars theme.
Yeah, I should arrange that so we can sing different parts. That'd be fun.
What do they call that? Shari says this all the time, and I can't think of it. If one person, it's
you like harmonize or
that's what it is. Harmony. Yeah.
Well, in order to harmonize, Roy, you have to first hit the right notes.
Just for the record, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. We'll auto tune you. Yeah.
And I say this a lot, especially as a joke, and when we're doing theater and stuff. I say, it's one thing if you think you can sing. It's another thing when you can't sing.
Yeah. The other thing I like about Superman and John Williams' music is, even as a kid seeing this in the theater, because this came out at Christmas '78, right in that Christmas season, I remember. So we would have been 12 when it came out.
We would have actually been 12.
So even at the age of 12, I recognize the lineage between the Superman television theme and Superman the movie, because they're not the same, but it's very much in that spirit. John Williams really captured the spirit of Superman, writing that music. Even though a lot of it, you can tell it's the guy who wrote Star Wars. If you listen to the whole soundtrack, he was like, there's just nobody else that could have done justice to that character. So, one of his great scores, and of course, not recognized with an Oscar. He did get nominated, though. What did he lose out to? Like Midnight Express, I think, or something. I think it was Giorgio Moroder that beat him. But what are you going to do? I mean, John Williams should have won the Oscar every year from like at least 1975 to 82, 85, I don't know, 84. But anyway, they can't keep giving it to the same guy. He's not Taylor Swift, Yeah. I
actually forgot that he did not win the Oscar for that.
Yeah. He only won 5 times. The last time he won was 93. Well, 94 for Schindler's List in 93. But yeah, you would think he would have won a lot more than 5 Oscars, but it's because he would mop the joint with just about anybody. They had to give it to somebody else once in a while. Yeah.
I guess it would have been kind of embarrassing, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain. I mean, this guy's had a great career.
Oh,
I'm sure he's not weeping.
No, I'm sure he's not. To be fair.
Yeah.
But no, that's interesting though. I think like I said, I've forgotten that. So, but yeah. Alrighty. So with that, we're gonna go on to your. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Ross. We're going to go on to your next choice, and let me see. This is going to be.
This is perfect because I talked about. Oh, look at that! That's not even the picture I sent you, is it?
No.
Or did you crop it?
I know the pictures you sent me. I'm unable to use. So
they're too big. Too big?
No, it's not copying over properly. So behind the scenes, I'm working the magic, Ross, and you're not even knowing that I'm doing it.
That's fine. I'm talking so much. It's buying you time. See, nobody would even know. This is like such a well-oiled machine right here.
Yeah, you're giving away the secrets, Ross.
Yeah. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, Little Alex, which is a kind of a controversial choice because, is Alex a hero? Is he a villain? I mean, do you really want to outside the box choices? Well, do you want your heroes to be murderers and rapists? Well, then Alex is your man, But it's an honor just to be nominated. True. We're back to John Williams again.
Yeah.
But the thing about Alex is he's such a charismatic character, especially as he's portrayed by Malcolm McDowell in Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange. He's, you can think he's despicable, but you can't help but kind of smirk at the way he expresses himself. He obviously has some kind of soul, albeit a twisted one. Music speaks to him. It opens him up to to the world. Unfortunately, the way he expresses himself, you see the visions that he gets. They're all twisted, horrible visions of people being crushed by rocks and volcanoes erupting and the ultra violence. But then the film makes the interesting choice of taking away his freedom of choice. So he's no longer the reprobate that he once was. But then it shows all the once you take that away, it shows all the other complications, and then you don't know quite who to root for by the end of the movie. Because Alex is a total creep. Total jerk. And yet by the end of the movie, it's like, oh, wait a minute, maybe Alex was okay after all, in his way. Is it Alex or big government? I don't know. But anyway, it's and not to be political about it, but I just think it's a very interesting movie, and I think it's a charismatic performance. And I mean, come on, I mean, that's an excuse for for decades. I mean, on Halloween, everybody dresses up like he's a big favorite with the droogs. Most of the people that dress up like Alex are jerks too, though.
Hopefully nobody out there is dressed up as Alex.
I said most. But yeah, so this is my most controversial probably choice on the list is Alex, little Alex, I like to call him. He's Alex. What was it? Defarge? Delarge? I forget what they called him in the movie. I don't think it's in the book. I think he's just Alex in the book.
I think he's just Alex, wasn't he?
And for the record, I liked. Well, he gives a name when he gets incarcerated. But for the record, I like the movie better than the book. I read the book once upon a time, and I think the movie makes its points better than the book, or more concisely and more effectively, because the book is kind of repetitive. But it was fun that Burgess created that language of all the slang, with kind of a mashup of like Russian and Cockney and everything else in there, and had the index in the back, and you could learn the vocabulary and speak with your friends, crack each other up in the cafeteria. So all right, so that's my crazy choice number 2.
Ross, I'm trying to remember when we actually had covered this movie. Do you remember how long ago it was?
Within the last year, wasn't it? Or is time really, really, really flying? Maybe it's over the summer. No, it couldn't have been that recent.
No.
I don't know. I mean, I don't even remember half the stuff we cover sometimes. That's not true. But the what category would you put Alex in if you were going to, you have your wise man adventure or whatever? What would you have?
Sadistic.
Sadistic reprobate. Sadistic charismatic reprobate. I just thought it was an interesting dystopian.
No, it is, and again, we're thinking outside the box in regards to different. So you're by doing that, it gives a wide range. I guess that's something we should really open up to the audience as far as what their feelings on it.
The kids getting hepped up on the drugged milk, the Moloko at the Moloko bar, and then
right.
Going off and beating people up while listening to Rossini. Where do I sign up?
Let me see here. Matt just commented. He said, and later a Paul Mason wine commercial.
It must be referencing Orson Welles or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, I want to say hi to Don Bethman. He's joining us from Delaware. Don, welcome. He said Burgess liked the movie better too.
Yeah, he had mixed feelings about that novel. DeLarge, thank you. Yeah, right, because he calls himself Alex DeLarge at some point in the book. Yeah, he had good taste in music.
12 years old at Schul School.
Yeah. That's when Matt and I saw Superman. We were both 12 at Schull on South Side of Easton. Is where I think we were only there for like half a year because we changed schools then and moved into the old Easton High School on Northampton Street, which is something else now. I don't even know what it is now. It's another school.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, my parents went to school. That was the high school, but it was our 7th grade. Yeah.
Matt just said, I remember writing the stellar review for Superman
Yes,
for the school paper, the Sween 7.
the Swin 7. Yeah,
One cut.
because Swin is news backwards. See that?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
See that's an
Play on
educational
words.
paper right there. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Matt wrote a review for it. I remember the review actually. Yeah.
Hopefully you held on to that, Matt. It might be worth a lot of money today.
I'm sure I've got it around here somewhere. Oh yeah, you know what? I know where it is. I
Oh,
bet you I
that's
can dig it out. It's probably in that trunk that I have in my parents' attic in my old bedroom.
I
That's
knew you
what,
were going to say that.
yeah. I got to make another trip up there and finish cleaning it out.
Well, didn't you actually find something that I had written back then?
Yep. Yep.
That's yeah.
Yeah, and just last week I found a bunch of rejection slips for all these stories that I had submitted back in the 80s to different magazines. It's like, oh, that's interesting. 1989. Yeah.
Hey, at least you were swinging the bat. That's good.
Swinging the bat. It was before the internet, Roy. You had to like send it out the old-fashioned way.
That's what I mean. You're swinging the bat. You were putting it out there. You were sending them out.
I was putting it on the snails.
Snail mail.
On the snail mail.
Exactly. Anyway,
going on delivering pizzas. Yeah.
A little literary appetizer will go a long way.
Yeah.
For my next choice,
I'm not into escargot. Yeah, but go ahead.
I did the Unconditional Hero, and I did Alan Carter from Space 1999. And the reason why I said unconditional, I mean, right from the pilot episode, and this scene the picture I took is right from Breakaway, when the moon is being blown out of the Earth's orbit and it is going away from the Earth, he's pursuing the moon, and he does not know if the inhabitants, the 311 men and women that are on the base, are alive. And he continues to follow it, and he doesn't head back. And he's really just, his concern and his loyalty to the quote unquote Alphans on the base is just, that's his singular, purpose. And he just is fixated on that just to make sure that they are okay. And then what happens is he finally establishes communication and is able to land on the base. And there was no turning back as that happened. And then, of course, there's all the other adventures. But I just thought that right out of the gate, establishing such a heroic character, and then Nick, really filled it well. Nick Tate, as we know, who we had on the show and everything. I mean, he was just, dynamic in this role, and a hero for so many. But,
well, that certainly does characterize, he has the characteristics of a hero too, as you say, not knowing whether they survived or not, and have to chase down the moon after the explosion. As everybody knows, I'm not a Space 1999 guy really, so I can't add a lot to this. So I hope people are like throwing stuff in the comments so we can fill out this segment. So we have some stuff to talk about.
Colin said he was close earlier because he was thinking I was going to have that.
Yeah. Well, we knew that you were going to have at least one Space 1999 in this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, growing up and everything, Alan Carter was always the favorite character from the series, and
And why is that?
I guess because he was like an action hero too, and in fact, again, using this right out of the gate as far as what happened in the opening episode, but just the fact that he flew the Eagles when Alpha was being attacked by the Hawks. I mean, he jumped right out there, with the other two Eagles, and of course, there's three Eagles trying to defend the base, and then what happens is the other two Eagles get shot up, and his is damaged, and then when they send in the bombers, pretty much he's able to take them out. And yeah, exactly. And Liz is out there. Liz, welcome. Liz is joining us from the UK. We appreciate Colin and Liz and all the other folks out there joining us so late. Liz says, I always liked one scene in Dorcons where you saw him choose to launch an eagle knowing that he could die, but his loyalty to his friends was so important. Exactly. Such a powerful scene. And that was like in the final episode. Because in the episode that Liz is referring to, Ross, is the Dorcons. And essentially what they are doing is they are an alien race that has a supreme leader, which is called the Imperial Archon. And the Imperial Archon essentially wants to live forever because his race wants him to live forever. And the one way he can do this is actually by getting the quote unquote brain stem from the Psychons. And the Psychons are pretty much an obliterated race, and that's the race that Maya is of. And there's no known Psychons left to have survived if you don't count Dorzak. And essentially, their base is infiltrated, and they want to take her. But before the base is infiltrated, what happens is they demand that they give up Maya, and Koenig is like, no. And then the lead alien, that's not the Supreme Archon, but the military commander, pretty much says that everybody's going to die unless you do what I say. And what happens is Alan pretty much heads for the Eagles to the launch pad, and they pretty much try to fight off the Dorkons and are unable to. And even when the base is infiltrated and they're trying to take her, he tries one last ditch effort to try to sock the one guard, and these are like Amazonian guards. I mean, they're like 6'10", and they're in all this military garb, and pretty much they take them out. But
I knew we weren't going to make it through an episode without some plot.
Ross, you would have thought I was a pod if I didn't do that. I just wanted to make sure you were well informed.
Tonight's plot is brought to you by.
Yeah, and the irony is the line that Council Vertus says, and she's the military leader. She says, "Resistance is futile," and the irony is that is the tagline that is used in Star Trek by the Borg. Resistance is futile. So, and yes, Christian and Patrick Troughton, for the Doctor Who fans out there, who was one of the doctors, he was the Imperial Archon. So yeah.
See, I gotta watch these things. I mean, it's torturous for me, but I gotta watch Space 1999 so I can be conversant. Maybe I'll be a convert. Maybe I'll love it. It is interesting that so many sci-fi stories have, you got your main character, your lead character, and he's always kind of forthright and has his heroic qualities, but it's often the supporting character that everybody kind of falls in love with, like they're the colorful character.
Absolutely.
For every Luke Skywalker, there's a Han Solo that people kind of gravitate toward. Yeah.
No, that's definitely true, and then with this is just a prime example of that, and like I said, I mean, there are favorite characters from the series, and and everybody has the ones that they really
you can only choose 10 tonight, Roy.
Right, exactly.
We only had 10 choices, so, and I already squandered 2 of mine. So,
what are you saying, Ross? No, but
none of mine are Space 1999. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert! Not to give anything away, but
people are all tuning out now. For sure, they'd hear they have their favorite Space 1999 guest on my list.
It's all good.
All right.
But just a comment, Jeff is saying TLC from Stargate. He turns from his old evil master and fights them to the end. And let me see. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Colin said Ross knows all episodes. Really, he just makes out that he doesn't.
That's the way to do it, Colin.
Brennan's commented Nick Tate was so good in that. The iconic character, he had a little more personality than the others too. Yeah, I mean, he was just really, really good in that. And Brennan also said Nick Tate. No, that was what you just said before, and I think we got everything covered. So yeah. Anyway, so that was that, and now going on to Ross's next pick. Oops.
Well,
we always like to put the music in there.
I just had a flashback. I'm sorry you're not getting the pictures that I sent to you, because I sent you the one where he was holding the unicorn dog.
Unicorn dog. Oh, geez. Oh, okay.
And I was going to say, yes, number 3 is the unicorn dog. Oh no, it's Spock. Sorry, but oh well. You see, you can't get my images out of the emails as they're coming through, because that's going to stop a couple of my jokes, but that's okay.
Well, you know what you can do, Ross? You can share your image, and when You can try sharing it, and then we'll just go with the wormhole.
Well,
It'll be fun.
yeah,
Just
if
everybody hold on to your seats as we engage warp drive and go into a wormhole.
on some of my choices, I might do that. I won't hold you to Spock and the unicorn dog. Everybody knows what the unicorn dog looks like. Would have been nice to see. Yeah, Spock. I mean, come on. We're I knew that Star Trek was going to turn up at least on one of our lists, probably on your list as well. But rather than going for Kirk, I went for Spock because I remember when we were going up to Ticonderoga, we were trying to think of topics to talk about, and I thought Spock would have been a good character to discuss just because for me, he's like kind of the richest character of the series because there's always so much turmoil and struggle between the human side and the Vulcan side, and he's always trying to grasp what's going on with the cultures around him, and yet he's so capable and he clearly has an empathetic side, even in the animated series, I know we did that one where they go back and he's with
yesteryear.
Yeah, and they have the touching episode with the equivalent of a dog. I don't know what the creature is anymore, but yeah, I mean, Spock is for me if I want to get choked up and I'd be like Kirk and say he was the most human.
Yeah, I mean, he was very human.
Yeah.
He was an amazing character, and thanks, Mike. The Charlotte.
Yeah, right. I should have brushed up on all that before we started talking about it. It was all I could do to pull the slides together. But I'm sure you could speak to it more as more than I could even. But
no, in regards to Spock, I mean, right from the beginning, I mean, Leonard Nimoy, I mean, what he brought to the character, the humanity he brought to the character it's unquestionable. And I mean, there's been many incarnations that have been done, and not to take away from anybody that, for what they've done. But I mean, he really was Spock. And, back in the 60s too, I mean, there was a point, I think it was even right before the second season, or maybe it was during the second season. I don't know. I'm not all brushed up on it, but I guess there was something going on in regards to contractual issues potentially. And they were actually thinking of potentially replacing him. And they were trying to come up with a list of actors that could actually do it. And nobody was going to replace Spock. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen. And he did bring a humanity to that character. And, fast forwarding to even like to 1982 when the movie came out, and there was so much talk about what was going to happen, that this was going to be his last film, that he was going to die in the film. And I remember, when they even did the simulator at the beginning of that movie, that, you see him, he gets, it looks like the character is getting killed in the simulator because we don't know it's a simulator. And then you're thinking, oh my God, this is happening like right out of the gate. And, obviously it's the Kobayashi Maru, and then things progress. And then by the time you get to the end of the movie, and spoiler alert, folks, and, everybody's seen this film, I'm willing to bet on it. When you get to the end of the movie and it's like, they're in that, no-win scenario situation, life and death, and Kirk is trying to get in contact with Scotty and he's not answering. And then they do that close-up on Spock, and then he just kind of looks up, and then he gets up out of his seat and he exits. It's like, oh shoot, this is what's going to happen. It's coming. And then when it does, it's like, the tears start coming through, it's like, oh my God, it's like all the memories and the friendship that the two characters, Kirk and Spock, shared through the series, and everything that had happened, and the mutual respect, and the missions, and the working together, and just, the family that resulted as such. It's just, it all comes to head when, we think that he's died. And then of course, through the magic of filmmaking, we see that he didn't.
Yeah. Well, there's so much resonance for the reasons that you say. And even though it was before the era of the internet, everybody, that kind of news had traveled. Everybody knew Spock was going to die. We didn't know, but we knew. So like you said, there was that tension going into the theater when they had the Kobayashi Maru segment at the beginning. It's like, wait, did they just kill Spock? It's like, oh, they didn't kill Spock. And it's like, oh, wait a minute, Spock's dead.
Right, exactly. Aren't you dead?
Yeah, right, exactly.
But that was great. I mean, that's great filmmaking, because everybody's waiting for it to happen. So then you're wondering, okay, maybe this is what what they were talking about, and maybe they got past it, and then you forget about it, and then then we find out, and being one of the first to see this movie right out of the theater. I mean, it came out on Friday, June 4th of 1982. I remember being so psyched to go see that film, and I remember being in high school and just waiting for the day to end. And I saw that movie with my mom. We went to the Easton Eric, and it was just so good. So great choice, Ross.
There are many who still think it's the best of the Star Trek films.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, and the other great thing about the series, other than adding that whole level of backstory and resonance for the films, is that when you got a series like that, you really get to know the characters. It's not just 2 hours that you get to develop a character. You've got episode after episode after episode. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Spock can grow a beard. Spock can laugh. Spock can talk somebody through brain surgery. It's
oh my God, Spock's brain and brain. What is brain?
And like you, I love the
camaraderie.
The camaraderie. I love the evolution at the beginning. In the early episodes, you would see that they would have different uniforms, or maybe his eye shadow was different, or
It was. You're absolutely right. I mean, Spock. If you look at the Corbomite maneuver, the first official first episode, if you don't count the 2 pilots, his collar is raised, and then Mud's women, it's slightly raised, and then it starts to go down. He actually reacts the way he did in the pilot, where he kind of shouts on the bridge. He does that in those 2 episodes. So it's kind of going through, to your point, a metamorphosis. Even Uhura's tunic is yellow in the Corbomite maneuver. We see that, and then also in whatchamacallit, in Mud's women. And then it isn't until we see her in the Man Trap, because she's not in The Enemy Within. We hear her voice, but we don't see her on the bridge. It's Farrell. No, actually, it's another officer that's at the communication station. Sorry, I'm just digressing.
Clearly, there are a lot of blind alleys we can walk down with this.
You got me started, Ross.
It's a rich legacy, though. It's great. It's bottomless. There's so much you can wring out of the series. So
yeah, we could devote a whole episode to Star Trek. Oh, that's right, we have.
Yeah, it's always Roy at his most intense when we talk about Star Trek. Not the movies so much, but when we get into the TV series.
Yeah.
This is Roy.
It's good to laugh. And I love Brennan's comment here. I'm rooting for Alf and Tweaky. The night is still young. May surprise you, Brennan. May surprise you.
You got it right here. Yeah, well, I try to keep one foot at least in reality. Come up with some unexpected choices, but not too crazy. Yeah.
But it's all good. And ironically enough, my next choice was Captain Kirk.
Oh, irony. The irony.
So there you go. I mean, he was
Where's
like
the picture?
Oh, you can't see. Oh, I'm thinking.
I want a picture.
You wanted a picture. There it is.
There he is.
There it is, Ross.
There you go. Natural born leader.
Yeah. Captain Kirk. I mean, my God, just watching those episodes, and I 6 o'clock, channel 11, right after school, I would get my homework done, and then boom, it was on to Star Trek. And those episodes, Kirk and all of the different types of scenarios. I mean, how he, his loyalty to his crew. I mean, his ship was everything to Kirk. That, and the girl that he was getting for each week. But no, but in all seriousness, I mean, it was just that even in that, I mean, I can name the one episode, Court Martial, when, you know, he's on trial for, you know, losing a crewman, and pretty much he's being questioned as far as, you know, the way he reacted with the decisions that he has made, and everything is so calculated and just progresses throughout the series and how he handles different situations, and just a natural born leader. I felt that he really fell into that category in regards to how he handled the role. I mean, it was, you know, obviously history has made its you know, points. There's been talk that not Christopher, I'm sorry, Jack Lord was a consideration for Captain Kirk. Also, Lloyd Bridges was a consideration for Captain Kirk. And this is after Jeffrey Hunter had not taken the role, because the original direction was for it to be Captain Pike. But then what happened was, for, you know, reasons that we're not going to get into and everything, he didn't take it. And you know, history didn't go in that direction, but potentially there were the other individuals that were being considered. And not to take away that they wouldn't have been able to handle it, but there was definitely a charisma that William Shatner brought to the character of Kirk. And yeah, he's definitely been a sci-fi hero and on the list.
Yeah, and the chemistry between the two characters, between the two actors, between Shatner and Nimoy, between Kirk and Spock, they were a good counterbalance.
Absolutely.
For one another, and
then even with DeForest Kelley, I mean, you know, you had Kirk, who was the leader, the hero. You had Spock, who was the intellect, the logic, and then you had McCoy, who was bringing the humanity to the role. You know, and then and it was something that actually came later. I mean, even originally with the show being developed, I mean, really, it was like William Shatner was the star, but Spock, Leonard Nimoy, became such a popular character for his, you know, for his intense role as Spock, and the chemistry worked together. I mean, I even believe that there was conversation with Isaac Asimov. I mean, with Gene Roddenberry, there's episodes, again, there was, you know, of course, there's the tension and things that maybe, you know, happen. We weren't there, so we don't know. But, you know, you hear things, you read things that were written about the time, potentially that there were disagreements, and maybe one actor, you know, felt that they should be getting more attention, you know, onward and everything. But the point is that I think it was Isaac Asimov that said to Roddenberry, because Roddenberry was like splitting them up. There's a couple episodes like the Doomsday Machine, Kirk is on the Constellation, whereas, you know, Spock is on the Enterprise. There's the episode where Who Mourns for Adonias? Kirk is on the planet doing his thing, you know, with trying to go up against Apollo. Spock is on the Enterprise. They're separated, and I believe there was commentary where, you know, Asimov indicated, you know, have them be together. They are a team. They are a solid team. They work well together. You know, it's almost like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. You know, and that and it worked. I mean, their adventures, and you know, the show's 57 is our age, Ross. I mean, at least with the series being on network television, it turns 57 on September 8th. Excuse me, 58. It'll be 58 September 8th. So we're still talking about it. It's still going strong, and you know, they've tried to make different incarnations. They've created different shows, but to me, at least in the realm of Star Trek 1966 to 1969,
right,
Captain Kirk is the hero, and that's thanks to William Shatner.
And Spock's kind of the brain, and McCoy's the heart. You know?
Yes, exactly. Very well said in regards to that. But
I'm sure I'm not the first person to observe it, but yeah, the little angels and devils on Kirk's shoulder.
You're reminiscent to what was it, Animal House?
You go. That would be an interesting Saturday Night Live sketch with Captain Kirk in a toga, of course. Well, I mean, you know, they did do the episode down. What was it? The children of what was the one where they were in the togas with the guy from Wild Wild West?
Oh, Plato's Stepchildren.
Plato's Stepchildren. Exactly.
You know, it's interesting you're mentioning that episode. That is one episode it's a third season episode, and honestly, it's an episode that is really not been a favorite.
People don't
The
like
only
Spock doing the Fandango. Yeah.
Yeah, I just was never into that episode. It just I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. Why
Good.
did you like that? Did you like that episode?
I loved it.
Of
my
course you did,
favorite.
Rob. I have no doubt.
My favorite Star Trek.
The best part of that episode was the end when when Kirk takes on Harmon, and he's able to overpower him with the powers because they're so arrogant, and that it was almost fun because it's such a pet peeve of mine is just people that look down on other people and just are like that. And it was just like I can't think of the actor that portrayed him, but he did it very, very well, and they all did. In fact, Barbara Babcock, who did a lot of classic Star Trek, was played Harmon's wife, and they were. I mean, they were just so obnoxious and arrogant, and the fact that. And because they had the power and they felt that they could just, walk all over everybody. And then they tormented poor Alexander. And Alexander said, the one thing I want is in case you get out of here, is take me with you. And then, when they're able to do it, it was just a great scene. Yeah. And late Michael Dunn, I mean, he's been gone for almost like 50 years now. And he was a magnificent actor, Bill. I totally agree. He is wonderful. And loved him in It's a Wild West, and that's something that we will definitely be covering on the show in the near future. Not the movie Wild Wild West, talking about the show, the series. I load that.
Yeah, we've talked about doing it. I kind of want to refresh my memory. I mean, I have seen it within memory, but I want to go back and watch some more episodes before we talk about it. But to some extent, you and I are like Spock and McCoy when it comes to Star Trek, because you get all like, all you're all factual and analytical about it, and I'm like, I just want to have something to watch while I'm drinking a beer. How'd you like it, Ross? Yeah, it's good. I enjoyed it.
I know Sherry says it's fun to watch me when I'm watching these things, because she goes, oh my God, you get so into it, and it's like it's almost like I'm watching it for the first time, but it's. That in 1999, just I don't know what it is. Jeff Rubel said Shatner's Kirk, no one else's. I'm with you there, Jeff. Bill saying, gentlemen, I suggest you me aboard. Yeah, it's a great line from the Doomsday Machine, Bill. Yeah, I agree about Plato's stepchildren. Yeah, I hate that episode.
Best. Next time we'll rank the Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, that's gonna be number one.
It could only be better if Malcolm McDowell were in it as Caligula.
Jeez, oh my God. Anyway, moving on to Ross's next pick, and that is going to be the Jinn from
the Genie from The Thief of Baghdad, Rex Ingram. I know this one's a little out of left field. It's the only one on my list that was an older movie from 1940. I love the film. Great score by Miklos Rozsa, but Rex Ingram is a supporting character. It's Sabu is really the main actor, but he kind of steals the movie. You know how it is. You conjure the genie, you get 3 wishes.
Yep.
And you always have to trick him.
Right.
But he's Rex Ingram basically steals every movie he's in, though. He was in a lot of stuff. He was in Sahara with Humphrey Bogart. He was in Cabin in the Sky, based on the Vernon Duke musical. But he's just superb in this. And so I thought about older sci-fi, and it's weird because there's so many science fiction movies, science fiction classics that I love, but I start thinking about the characters, and they're not really character driven, especially main characters. The heroes are always bland. You know what I mean? It's like, well, who am I going to pick? Gort? Gort was,
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Michael Rennie, for as much as I like him in that film, it's like Klaatu isn't like really the, somebody who would make my hero list if I only have 10 to choose. I could have picked Gort, but the Jinn is genuinely charismatic and hilarious in the movie, so I figured I'd choose him. I don't know. Can you think of anybody that's? I know we're going off list, but can you think of anybody like pre, 1960 that you would add to your heroes list?
Well,
Because
it's interesting that you brought up about the day the Earth stood still, because I was actually kicking that around
yeah,
about Michael Rennie's character, because in the sense he prevents the Earth from being destroyed,
he
and
does.
he gives the warning
There is
that what's that?
there is that.
No, there is,
Yeah,
and if it wasn't for him, I mean, Gord is running independent, and Gord is essentially just taking things out, but
yeah.
it's him who stops it. But yeah, so that's in regards to pre 1960s. That definitely came to mind. I'm going to the comments, and let me see here. Bill saying, Ross, how about Captain
Yeah,
Nemo?
yeah.
Captain
See,
Nemo's a great one.
again, I love Captain Nemo, and again, it's like kind of anti-hero territory, but he is a hero. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like he's a villain, but he, in his mind, and especially in the book, he is a heroic figure, tragic
Right.
heroic figure. But yeah, I mean, I guess we could do a pre 1960 version of this at some point.
Yeah.
Because, those are interesting. I had thought of Klaatu, and I did think of Nemo, but I didn't really, I don't know.
I didn't think of Nemo, and I think
But
Nemo's a good pick.
it's a good pick. He's the bad guy, but he's also kind of the good guy.
Right. Flash Gordon
Yeah.
and Buck Rogers from Brennan. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers were both on my list, but they didn't make the final cut because, again, I love the serials. I'm sorry. If you're talking about the newer ones, I was thinking about the Buster Crab.
No, I know. I don't know. I don't know who he's referring to. It could be
Yeah.
either the serials or it could be the TV show and the movie. So no.
And he's fun. Buster Crab's fun, and I like the serials as a whole, but I just didn't. I thought Flash, he's a little one dimensional, but I mean, I like Flash in every incarnation that I've seen him in.
Yeah, Captain J.J. Adams. I'm not sure who that is.
Oh yeah, that's Leslie Nielsen.
Oh, right.
Forbidden Planet. Yeah.
Forbidden Planet. Yes. Oh boy, I'm slipping on that one.
Again, kind of like he's kind of like the hero. He's like one dimensional.
He is not on my list, but ironically enough,
the robot would be
Mike. Yes. Well, that you're talking about Robbie. The one I was thinking of is the
Robbie.
Doctor. Warren Stevens, the doctor in that movie, sacrifices himself to find out about the race, the Krell that were there, and it's because of them he's able to, let them know exactly what happened. He puts on the mind device and pretty much does what McCoy does in Spock's brain, but dies from the overload because it's just too much knowledge.
It's one of those things, though. I mean, so many movies are like this, though. You get a colorful creation like Robbie, and then you got Walter Pidgeon, who's the misguided. He's not like an outright villain, but he's the antagonist kind of, and he kind of steals. He's such a presence. Secrets from the id, creatures from the id.
Such a great movie. Such a great movie.
Yeah. I mean, they're all great movies, and I would put them all on my list. But I don't know about the character, the hero.
Bill saying, "Let's face it, Captain
J.J." Yeah. Leslie Nielsen was much more interesting when he got funny.
Well, talk about a guy that had different careers. Leslie Nielsen, was like the leading man, like in the 1950s, and then in the early 60s. Then he switched over, like in the late 60s into the 70s, where he was the antagonist. I mean, he was the heavy. He was always turning up as the bad guy. And then he reinvented himself when he started doing the airplane movies into the 80s, and then he did Police Squad, and to the late. I mean, he just pretty much went with it, and kind of like what William Shatner's done. I mean, you had a Shakespearean actor, very serious, dramatic actor, and then what he did was he kind of turned to comedy for that period of time, and then he just did independent roles thereafter. So it's not one dimensional by any means as an actor, but to your point, in regards in that role, I mean, who's going to stand out more?
Yeah. Now, Thief of Baghdad, I understand, is more of a fantasy film. J.J. Anderson, filmmaker.
Don't even get me started with J.J.
I knew that was coming. I'm surprised it took so long. But I mean, clearly, Thief of Baghdad's more of a fantasy film than a science fiction film. But if you haven't seen it, do check it out. It's a lot of fun. and
I have
Rex Ingham
not
is
seen that
terrific
movie,
in it.
Ross. I
Yeah,
definitely want to check that out. That
yeah,
sounds really good.
it's a
But
fun movie.
no, definitely a good pick.
Yeah,
Let me see.
it's
Oh,
a pick. Yeah,
Brennan said J.J. Abrams was a better filmmaker than J.J. Abrams, though.
yeah,
Hey, Leslie. Thanks, Leslie. Yeah,
yeah. Leslie.
doing better, Leslie. But thank you. And Don said he wrestled a bear in Day of the Animals.
Cool.
Now, my next pick was Sarah O'Connor, the maternal hero.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when it comes right down to it, uh, you know, you're either going to pick her or Sigourney or both. You know what I mean? These are the ones that leap immediately to mind for the maternal heroes. But tell us, Roy. Tell us why you picked and why
Well,
you.
think about it. I mean, well, no, especially in the first movie. I mean, she's just going about her business, and then the transformation that she makes in the second film, where she's aware of what
Yeah,
she has to do in regards to almost saving, the human race,
yeah,
and the responsibility that has been given to her. I mean, what a transformation of a character.
yeah,
And Linda Hamilton really nails it. She does a wonderful job in this in
yeah.
those roles. I mean, I think they're about what 8 years apart. I think the first one, or maybe seven. The first one came out in '84, and then the next one was in '91.
Hmm. Yeah. This was one of those sequels that topped the original. I thought,
Yep. Yeah, I would
uh,
agree.
and it took kind of even though it was the same story, it kind of took a little bit of a deeper approach to it. I mean, there's
Mhm.
certain like the Mad Max movies. You have Mad Max and then you have the Road Warrior, which is totally
Right.
different and yet deepens the character. And Aliens after Alien, is
Yep.
another good one.
Another
Empire Strikes
example.
Back after Star Wars. Godfather Part Two after The Godfather. I'm not saying they're superior, but I am saying that, yeah, I'm not going to say that about The Godfather because I love The Godfather, but there's just something about watching the second film in these series and just that euphoria that the movie's so good. You know what I mean? Because sequels are so seldom as good as the original, and then when you see one that matches the original or in some senses
Surpasses it.
surpasses it, yeah, it's just such a yeah. So I haven't seen Evil Dead 2, but some say that about Evil Dead 2 also that it ramps it up. So yeah, yeah.
So
I always like yeah.
you were a big fan of the second one then too, Ross.
Of the Terminator movies, yeah, I didn't see the one she just made within the last couple of years where she came
Okay.
back.
It was
Uh,
good, but it did not compare with the second or the
yeah,
first one. It
I
was not
didn't
a
think it
bad
would.
movie, but it was. I wouldn't
And
say that it was a like a great movie. You know what I
it's
mean?
hard when you go back 30, 40 years to make
It is.
sequels.
No.
And I always kind of like something inside me goes when they do that because it's never gonna recapture that.
Well,
Mm.
it's hard too because, and I was kind of like thinking about this the other day. Always, thinking about things in terms of life and getting all philosophical. You know, I remember this, and this, of course, it's gonna tie into Star Trek, and it actually ties into Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I remember William Shatner in 1979 being interviewed, and it had literally been what 9 years since they shot the film in '78, so the show went off in '69. So it's 9 years since the original series had been filmed, and I forget who was interviewing him, but pretty much said, how do you feel as far as doing this character and everything? And then what he said was, which is true, is that, well, supposedly, and you got to mind you, Shatner's, what, 48 years old at this time when he's being interviewed, that supposedly like every 7 years a person changes. And he's, theoretically, he would have changed twice since the making of Star Trek, or, you know what I mean? The original series.
Right.
And it's taking it from a different perspective. And I remember hearing that as a 12-year-old, and I'm thinking, what the heck? How does somebody change? I mean, you are who you are, and what's that about? You know what I mean? As a 12-year-old hearing a 48-year-old, saying that, and I was just kind of reflecting upon that the other day. But
Yeah.
it's so true because the things that you maybe hold dear when you're that age, or you look at things that from a different perspective. And to your point, you're doing these characters, you're doing these movies 30 years ago, maybe almost 40 years ago. And granted, it's scripted, but you cannot play it the way you would have played it in that
Right.
time. If you do, it's really not going to be believable because you're not like this 25, 30, 35-year-old, you know what I mean? You're like
But
in your
yeah,
60s.
but
And
everything's changed. Everything's changed. I mean, the way they make movies has changed. The way we perceive movies has changed. You know what I mean? It's just like so much changes. It's not just, but yeah, I mean, physically we change. You know,
but
all of our
even
cells change and everything else. And seven,
right.
I don't know if seven is the amount of. I save all my old cells. I'm like Howard Hughes. I've got them in milk bottles here. So if you want, I can pull out 1984 for you.
You're
But
gonna
yeah,
conjure up the 1984 Ross for me, Ross?
there's just too much though. I mean, there's it's the way movies are made, the way we perceive them, what went on in the world, you know, and yeah, how we are as a, you know, I mean, the country's totally different
Oh
from the
yeah.
way it was. You know, it's just I don't know. It's just always a little, you know, and then the old movies they don't fit together anymore. Like if a movie's a few years apart, they seem like they're part of the same series, but then suddenly you go from you know, models to CG, or you know what I mean, and everything's slick and it's not the same thing.
No, it's
Yeah.
you know,
Even though they were using computer, you know, at that time in Terminator with the
sure.
liquid metal with the cop.
The liquid metal. I can't think of the actor's name. And he's really good too. He did a
Yeah,
great
yeah.
job.
But yeah, she was good in the movie. She was great in the movie, actually. Yeah.
She really was, and she really stepped it up for it. Jeff said, "Don't bother with Terminator Dark Fate gag."
Yeah, I can't keep track of them anymore. You know,
Wow. Leslie's asking if we covered. No, we did not cover Jor-El yet, Leslie. But we did.
I should have
we did
picked
cover
Jor-El.
Superman. We copied Superman. So you missed that.
Oh man, how could I miss out on Jor-El? That would have been a great choice.
Yeah.
Fun one to talk about.
Leslie was commenting about that on the Facebook page. Good
Sorry,
choice, Leslie.
Leslie, I let you down.
But anyway, yeah, definitely Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
The next choice for Ross.
Oh, another little flashback. I dropped so much acid before the show.
Just want to make sure everybody's there. The next choice is the Lord of the Rings, and it was Gandalf.
Oh yeah, I almost didn't even recognize him from that photo. Again, these aren't the photos that I picked, but yeah, Gandalf, especially in the books, and in every incarnation, as everybody knows who I never saw the Sarah Connor Chronicles. I assume that was a TV series.
I think so.
Yeah, as all long-time viewers know, I hated the Lord of the Rings movies. So you're probably like, what? What's he doing choosing Gandalf? But the character of Gandalf, I always loved from the books, and even from the Bakshi movie. But you know, McKellen played him so well in the series, and he's an interesting character. You know, he's kind of again, he's your wise. What did you call the Obi-Wan? The wise.
He's the wise man hero.
The wise man here, and Gandalf again is kind of the wise man hero. He's the one that organizes the first adventure back in the Hobbit. You know, when he shows up at Bilbo's house with the dwarfs and starts the whole thing rolling. He's also a little bit of a Christ figure because you know, he again, like Obi-Wan, sacrifices himself fighting the Balrog, and you know, he falls kind of into unseen depths below, and you don't know what's happened to Gandalf. You think maybe he's dead, but then he tells that whole thing in the flashback how he's you know lying on his back in a snow on top of a mountain. He comes back as, you know, he's no longer Gandalf the Grey, but Gandalf the White, or what have you. And riding into battle. Yeah, he's just an interesting character with a lot of different, like in the Star Wars movies, J.R. Tolkien drew from a lot of different traditions and mythologies. in creating You Shall Not Pass. Yeah, and the Balrog was another one of my favorites from that. I didn't like anything else. If it had just been all Ian McKellen and the Balrog, I would have been happy if they'd done that for 3 movies, but it wasn't that. But yeah. So that's why I picked Gandalf. This is like a book report in 7th grade. I liked it. It had a good rhythm. I could dance to it.
That was a great dissertation, Ross.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know what I noticed just by looking at that photo, and I'm surprised. I was waiting for either Christian or Liz to say it, and I'm surprised they did not. Oops, hang on one second. And just like studying it, and very, very similar.
They have the same barber.
You know who that actor is on the left, Ross?
Isn't that Christopher Lee?
It's Christopher Lee.
Wow. So it was kind of a he was training for Sauron. Sauron was the evil wizard in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's the episode of Space 1999, Earthbound, that we were referencing earlier. And that was shot in 74, or 75. No, 74 it was shot.
It's like Sauron re-envisioned by Ken Russell. Very 70s, Roy. Very 70s.
Very 70s. Yeah. So I thought maybe you'd get a kick out of it, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh, I got a kick out of it. Did
you really?
I did.
You're not just saying that?
No. It was amusing.
It was amusing. But yeah.
I could go on about Gandalf, but we got to keep moving.
No, it's good. No, it's a great choice. He's definitely a great choice.
Again, fantasy, not science fiction. But
right. No, definitely. My next choice. Oh, wait a minute. Christian just said Lee and Christian also shared the same wig in Space 99. That's true. They did. Great actor. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Nancy. Nancy said that. Hey, Nancy, thanks for joining. Nancy's joining us from Canada. Yes, definitely. And so is Peter Cushing.
That shows, you're good friends when you're sharing the same wig.
Yeah. Now, my next choice is Dr. Sam Beckett from.
Oh my goodness, Quantum Leap.
Quantum Leap, yeah.
Which I never watched.
I did not watch a lot of those episodes, but the ones I did watch, I enjoyed, and I put him down as like the selfless hero, essentially just bouncing through time, trying to make things right, and not really, and it possibly is going to lead to him bouncing back, to the present. Yes, Captain Archer, exactly. There's the Star Trek connection for tonight. I didn't even do All Words Lead to Star Trek tonight, folks, but we didn't know, but yeah. And then in the final episode, well, no spoilers, and they actually have brought this character back, but it's a different actor playing. The show's been rebooted and everything. But he's continuing to leap, and he really never finds home. But I just thought, talk about selfless, having to jump into. Yeah, agreed, Leslie. It was a very letdown of an ending for a series. Kind of very similar to Star Trek Enterprise, unfortunately, too. Not to combine them, and they both had Scott Bakula. Not Scott Bakula's fault either. Well, he's an amazing actor, and but back to my point, just that he's trying to correct history to make sure history is right, and if he doesn't do it, he'll be pretty much trapped, and the decisions that he makes do make things right, so to speak.
Well, wouldn't that be a selfish hero then? Because he's trying to preserve his passage back. I'm doing it's the right thing, but I'm only doing it so I can go home.
Matt saying I preferred Burl Ives as the gin in the background.
That's right.
So anything.
Okay. Is there a new show? Is there a new Quantum Leap?
There is. What did Leslie say? And the character on the new show was searching for him. Yeah. There you go. But anyway, so you didn't watch. You were not a fan of.
It was too. I didn't watch a lot of TV at that point. It was too late in the. in the game.
That's true.
Yeah, it could, because that was like 90s, wasn't it? When was that on? Or is this
No,
late?
Quantum Leap was in 88, I think.
Yeah, I was already doing stuff. Yeah, I was out living. I was time
You were
traveling,
living.
Roy. I was time tripping.
I
Yeah.
should have known.
Yeah, I mean, I knew of it. I saw the commercials for it, and I knew what it was, but I never saw it. Yeah.
Right. No, it was on NBC for, I think, 5 seasons.
One of these days, I'll check it out. It's Dean Stockwell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll check it out one of these days.
Well, actually, I had the opportunity to meet with Vince. We saw both him and whatchamacallit. My goodness, I just went up. Hope you'll be one. You're my only hope.
He's the boy with the green hair, Dean Stockwell.
No, what's that?
He was the boy with the green hair, Dean Stockwell.
No, the other guy.
He was a child actor. What's that?
No, he was. You're right. He was a child actor.
He was in Kim with Errol Flynn. Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that. Wow.
In the 50s.
Yeah. But anyway, good stuff. But if you have the opportunity, Ross, definitely check it out.
Yeah, I'll check it out one of these days.
But anyway, I guess I should try to bring up your next pick. But unfortunately,
you can't find it. You can't transfer it, can you?
Can't transfer. What are you talking about?
Well, for my email.
Yeah, your email, unfortunately.
Well, we'll see what you do, and then you might have to share the screen if it's too off.
Let's see. All right.
I don't know why you're not able to do that, because I didn't. What is going on? Is there like overlap here? Are we jerking around here? What's going on? I just heard some feedback.
Oh, did you?
Am I freezing? Are you freezing? Is somebody freezing?
I don't know.
Nah.
Can everybody hear us out there? Okay. We're checking in here. Yeah. We're having some technical difficulties.
Well, it's not that difficult.
What's that?
I heard me. Can you hear it? I mean, there's like feedback when I'm speaking.
Yeah, I don't know what's causing that.
Uh-oh.
Hold on 1 second, Ross.
Must be something I emailed you. There was nothing encoded or anything, so you should just be able to like cut and copy or copy it and paste it.
No, it's the type of file it is that it's not allowing me to copy it over.
Bastards.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Hold on 1 second.
That's a shame, because I saved them all as JPEGs. But you know what? I may have just copied and pasted them in the email from my slideshow. So yeah, maybe there's a different code or something.
Yeah, bear with me 1 second, Ross.
Because all I did was like right-click copy.
For whatever reason,
This is the most thrilling show ever.
Don't be knocking us.
I can't wait to see what the next choice is.
Can you actually see my screen right now or not?
No, I can only see you.
You can only see me? Okay.
More's the pity. Yeah.
All right, hold on 1 second. I'm trying to, for some reason, there's some kind of freeze that's going on, and I can't.
I could look at you all day, Roy.
Yeah, there you go. Are you able to see my screen now or no?
No, I cannot. Maybe some other folks can. I can't see you or see what you're doing.
I don't know.
Did I break it with my next choice?
No, it's just there's something with the hold on 1 second. I apologize, folks. We were actually doing very well with this.
I know. I think I'm going to keep all of my my explanations shorter so we can keep it moving here when you put the image up. I won't digress as much. I didn't realize we were going to fill so much time. Well, I guess we had a little bit of a late start too.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to see if this is going to clear it up. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get through this without having to reboot, because if I have to reboot, then it's just going to be messy.
Uh-oh. I hate reboots.
Yeah, we don't.
They should reboot this show. Who would play us? I think this show needs some youthful energy, Roy.
I guess I shouldn't be surprised. It's like giving Ross the controls and not knowing what direction we're gonna go.
I just know that Ryan Gosling's going to play you.
The question is, Ross, who's going to play you?
That is a question, isn't it? I don't know. Some old guy. Some guy who's like 30.
Oh my God.
Some 30-year-old who played old and cranky.
How funny would that be? That would be actually very amusing, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, we should do a one-off.
We really should.
But everybody would like it so much we would lose our jobs.
Are you able to see anything on the screen or no?
No, just you.
Oh, that's good. Nothing sharing, huh?
I don't even see Squeaker.
You don't even see Squeaker?
Or Marble.
Yeah.
Nobody's up there.
All right, hold on a second. Anyway, let me just try something else real quick.
I don't even know which one you're trying to get up there. Ooh, at this point, what number? I guess you could send me I could try to get it up on this side.
I'm almost afraid that I'm going to lose you on here. Brennan.
Oh, I see which one it is. Yeah.
Brennan is saying this is going to be a 2-part episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right,
good Lord, maybe so. Maybe. Yeah. Wow. We still have 1, 2, 3. Wow. Holy heck. We only been like we're only like halfway through.
Are we really?
I don't know. I think I still have 4 or 5 to go.
Yeah. See, we were so informative with our choices that
we could do a part 2. We could say to be continued. I mean, what time is it now? It's like 10 of 9.
Randy's saying this is like Apollo 13. What if we try this?
Well, why don't you go to the shout outs and then we'll do a part 2 down and I know you've got something else scheduled in a couple of weeks, but we can do another Monday night or something if you want.
Yeah, we can do that. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Agent Cooper. Yeah, it's not the image I sent you, but that'll do. Yeah.
After all that, right, Ross?
Twin Peaks, yeah. You haven't seen Twin Peaks, though, right?
No, I probably have seen 1 or 2 episodes of Twin Peaks. That's it. Yeah,
I'm not even sure how I would characterize it. It's not science fiction. It's got fantastical elements. It's a little horror, but it's also very funny. I have not seen, before anybody barrages us with spoilers for the new, the 3rd season that was just out a couple of years ago. I have not seen that, so I have no idea what direction the series took. But as far as back in the 90s, this was a great favorite, and I watched it every week. And Kyle MacLachlan was just, he was an FBI agent, but he had this, very wholesome kind of, Midwestern kind of outlook on everything, and he was very much into the quality of the coffee at the diner. This is damn fine coffee, and he was always eating pie, but there was always something. Yeah, Dale Cooper, damn good coffee. See, everybody knows. Yeah, I haven't seen the 3rd season yet. I have a feeling it goes off the rails big time, which is saying something for Twin Peaks. But you should check it out sometime. We should watch it sometime. I've got it here.
No, and Warren is always talking about this show because he's a huge Twin Peaks fan, and yeah,
it's dreamy, it's addictive, but it's funny because there was another show that came out not long after called maybe around the same time. I think it was around the same time. It was Northern Exposure. Do you remember that show?
Sure, I didn't watch it, but I remember it.
And I remember describing it to somebody. So it's kind of like Twin Peaks, only it makes you feel good. It's Twin Peaks, you would always be like, woo, I had way too much coffee. Yeah. But it's a great show, and he was great in it. And yeah, so he was a kind of an FBI agent facing the supernatural, is what it was. But it was, but that's oversimplification. It wasn't, quite an X-Files kind of thing, but a little bit like that. But yeah, so that's my quirky, what is it, sixth choice or something?
Yeah. No, that's good. But no, your choices though, Ross, were very diverse. So why?
I try to keep them like a little diverse, because otherwise I would be choosing the exact same things you chose. Maybe.
What are you saying?
Close to it. You know what I mean? It's like, and some of them, we still have some coming up. If we do all of them, if you're not going to continue it later. What's it say? Just the premiere?
Yeah, he said Brennan said just the premiere episode is terrific in itself.
Yeah, it's a good show.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to definitely check it out.
And haunting, yeah. And there's plenty of WTF.
Oh, geez.
In both a good way and a bad way. No, I can't really say a bad way. In both a good way and in a WTF way. Let's just say that. It can be funny or it can be just confusing. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what. Why don't we cut off there?
Let's do that.
We're at the halfway point, and we're almost at the 2-hour mark, and we'll go to the shout outs. And then what we will do is it won't be in the next week or two, but we will revisit this in the month of March, and we will continue our discussion, because I think this is something that, especially with having 10 choices, we don't want to just like go right through them, because it's not going to
well, we don't want to, on a Monday night, we don't want to keep people here till 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Eastern time. Yeah, work a great here. I kind of figured that might have been coming.
If you hadn't said that, Leslie, we would have thought you were a pod.
Yeah. Because overseas, it's, what is it? Is it a 5-hour difference? What is it over there?
Yeah, it's at least 5 hours, especially in the UK. So it's like what, 2 a.m. over there.
I hope you all work from home.
Yeah, Liz and Colin. I don't know if they're still with us, but if they are,
work from home, and you can snow your boss into thinking, that you're working at 8 o'clock tomorrow, 9 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Nice. But one last thing, and then we'll go right to the shout outs. Want to share, and actually I prepared this for February 2nd, because we were supposed to do the show on Friday, but
Groundhog Day.
That's the way it was, release date. But anyway, going to February 5th of 1966. The number one song back in 1966 was My Love by Petula Clark. And the number one song in the UK was Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. And as far as movie releases, The Rare Breed with Jimmy Stewart and Maureen O'Hara. And the number one film at the time was the 1965 film, which was Thunderball, the James Bond movie.
Did you ever see The Rare Breed?
No, I have not. Did you see it, Ross?
Oh yeah. It's got Brian Keith in a red wig and a big red beard doing a Scottish burr.
Oh,
and
wow.
John Williams did the music.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
It's a fun movie.
Leslie's saying, thankfully, yes, working from home today, 2 a.m. here now. Leslie, thank you so much for being such a trooper. Oh my God, Leslie.
You're a sweetheart.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
really
Leslie,
are.
it's Liz. Not Leslie, Liz.
I mean, Liz.
Mixing them up. Leslie's not a sweetheart.
No, Liz. Yeah, Leslie's all about Orca.
she's not
in the UK. Sorry, Liz. I'm being all tongue tied.
Must have been the L.
Must have been. Oh boy, Matt saying Christopher.
Where he's wearing the wig, probably. Yeah.
All righty, going to the shout outs, folks. Mike and Mary Beth, we were talking about Forbidden Planet.
Yeah.
They are scheduled to be on Wednesday night. Happy Valentine's Day, folks. And they will be talking about Forbidden Planet as they continue classic sci-fi. So they will be discussing that this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Check them out, Mike and Mary Beth, for Sci-Fi Distilled. Also, want to give a shout out to Countrygate. Bill's out there, and Countrygate Players is in action, folks. And in regards to the second season, the new season, the season for the theater, you can visit www.countrygate.org, or you can also go to www.billscorrado.com, which is Bill's website. Now, if you are in the Belvedere area or the Harmony area of New Jersey, we are going to be performing in a murder mystery this coming Saturday. If you are interested in tickets, you can call 610-248-7285. And the name of the play is written. It's also written by Bill and directed by Bill. It's The Main Stage Murders. And for the tagline, there are no small parts, only dead actors. And it promises to be an evening of mystery, mayhem, and even murder. So there you go. But anyway, stay tuned for that. Regards to the documentary, The Eagle Has Landed. It is now The Eagle Obsession, and it is in production, folks. For informational updates, you can go to www.eagledocumentary.com, and Jeffrey will be on the show probably in the near future, talking more about things that are updated in regards to the progression of the movie. So definitely on track, and it's looking really good, folks. So stay tuned in regards to that. And also Captain Phil's Planet. Want to give a quick shout out. Captain Phil, WSB 90.1 FM, Stony Brook, New York. The captain schedule is on Friday nights from 9 to 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also want to give a shout out to Trek Talking, a Star Trek podcast. Thank you for your support of this show. Definitely check them out on Facebook. Also want to give a shout out to Martha for Studio One Thrift. If you have the opportunity, visit the site. It's www.studioonethrift.com. And you can make sure to subscribe for stylish, affordable clothing, and also receive styling tips and informational updates. In fact, Martha actually was up at Studio One Thrift just a few weeks ago. Went to that event that I actually had posted, and it was for the Freeze Rebellion, which is a movie that is being made within the Lehigh Valley. So got to do that last night, which was really nice. And yeah, thank you, Studio One Thrift, and thank you, Martha, for doing the coordination on that. Definitely, folks, check that out. And then real quick, I'll shout out to the 50th anniversary celebration, London 1999, which will be September 11th through September 17th of this year. For the information on the convention, you can visit the website, which is www.space199950years.com. Also for hotel information and event information about the convention. Warren will be coming on the show also in the near future. We'll be talking about that as well, too. And folks, here is the man, Ross, to tell us about what you've got going on at KWAX.
Yeah, it's too early in the week. I have no idea what I'm doing. I can tell you that John Williams' birthday is on the 8th, and he will be 92 years old. Jerry Goldsmith's birthday is on the 10th. So it's possible that some of their music may turn up, at least on the film music show, Picture Perfect. Those are the times for the shows. They originate now. Well, they originate right here from my basement, but they air out in Oregon on KWAX. And that is the URL. As we get closer to the times indicated, I do write about these things on my Facebook page. So if you're at all interested, I will preview them as it gets closer to the weekend. A classic Ross Amico.
Cool.
Thanks, Roy.
Thanks, Ross. Appreciate it. And again, that's kwax.uoregon.edu.
Yeah, I just love how I have no idea what I'm doing. You know, it's just like,
well, it's only Monday.
Yeah, no, I'll start recording tomorrow.
There you go. So just to let everybody know that there is no show this coming Friday, folks. Next weekend we will not be on. Again, going to be doing the rehearsals for the murder mystery, which will be Friday night, and then we are going to be having the show, the play, which will be on Saturday the 10th. So again, next weekend we will not be doing a show. Ross and I will be back, and we will be actually having a very special guest, and it's going to be David Frankham, and he's going to be joining us on his 98th birthday. We're going to be celebrating his 98th birthday on the show. That will be on Friday, February 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to welcome some guests. Jonathan will be on with him as well. And then we're also going to have some other folks that will be possibly joining just to wish David a happy birthday. So very excited about having him back on the show, and very excited to be celebrating his 98th birthday. on the show as well too. And David's a great guy, and it should promise to be a lot of fun. So we will be doing that again, not this Friday, but the Friday after, and that will be on the 16th of February. So stay tuned for that. Liz commented, and I don't know if I maybe I didn't mean to say about that being Ed Sheeran's birthday, but I think that was his number one song, Liz. I'm sorry if I miscommunicated that. Back in 1966, he definitely was. To your point, was not born in 1966, but he had a number one song in 1966, which was "Shape of You." So, just to put that out there. But thank you, though.
Now, if anybody's still out there, I want to encourage the people to maybe, if they have any questions for David Frankham or anything, message. You can start messaging to Roy, because we always ask him the same stuff, and sometimes we miss people's questions. So, am I speaking in turn to have people send you some thoughts?
No, absolutely, and there's definitely going to be it'll be fun to talk to him about his career, and there's obviously things that we haven't talked about, and we'll be sharing some different factoids. So it definitely will be fun. If you have any questions, to Ross's point, that you would like to ask David, or during the show, and you want to send them ahead of time, please feel free to do so. That way we do have them ahead. Or if not, if you don't do that, you can type them in while the show is on. Again, try to get everything.
Hopefully we'll catch them. Yeah.
And I think for the most part, we do pretty well with it, unless we have a hiccup like we did later on tonight. But I think everything worked for the most part really well with this, Ross. So it was.
Because you didn't hand me the screen. We didn't get to go in the wormhole. We didn't get to see my great photographs that I picked out. You know what, though? For part 2, I'll send them to you in a different format.
Okay. No, that sounds good. We will improve upon that with the next.
You did a good job, though, I must say, for picking up the ball.
That's all good.
Getting around the workaround, for figuring out a workaround.
Yeah.
At
least it worked, and the viewers were able to see the photos. We were able to see the movies that you listed, as well as the characters. So
the characters, yeah.
It all came together in the end.
Yeah. I hope it was entertaining for some.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it, folks. Let us know in the comments section, or you can post on the show's page what you thought. We hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll definitely do some different stuff like this. It kind of breaks things up a little bit, and we thought that would definitely be fun to do. It's kind of weird. Oh, go ahead, Ross.
Well, the reboot, who's playing me is Hugh Jackman. So the reboot will have Ryan Gosling and Hugh Jackman
doing us.
So stay tuned.
The contract negotiations are underway as we speak.
And David Frank,
I just send on the email. I just needed to know who I was emailing, Ross. I'm ready to go. So I just hit the enter button. Send. They should be responding any day now.
I'm going to show up for the Frankham interview in my Wolverine suit, just to confuse him on his birthday.
You won't. That won't be the only person you'll be confusing. You won't only be confusing David. You'll be confusing me.
Oh boy.
Anyway, folks, wishing you a great week ahead, and a great weekend. And as we always like to say, live long and prosper. Take care.
Good night. Have a good week.